Hey everybody, Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. I'm going to show you a little walk-around update of the homestead so far. A lot has gone on since we didn't have internet, and some new things even today. Shrubs are 75% off today, so we got a few. Melanie's roses are beautiful, really starting to grow and spread. Actually, all her flowers. That's my favorite right there. The ones that took the freeze damage back a while ago are not flowering. I guess they're finished. But some of the other plants are starting to come up. And here we have a cabbage and lettuce bed. Melanie, we haven't had food from this one yet, have we though? No. No. The one by the house up front is the one we ate from today? Mm-hmm. Okay. We're starting to eat from our garden now. Today Melanie has got started a new flower bed. So there's her first one, which is starting to look really nice. And she's got a new one she's making here. And she's doing it all herself. I got her the bricks and helped her move them, but that's it. And then out here, I'm moving all our gardening and landscaping materials back out of the front of the garden area, and for good reason. For one, so it'll look better. Two, so that while it's out of sight, but also I have a new fence, which I'll show you in a minute. This plow will then come up here in the front. That's an antique plow I brought home, which is actually probably still going to function, and I'm going to use it in a certain place one day. But for now, it was only $20. I brought that home. I could probably clean it and sell it for a lot more than that as a garden ornament, because those things go for hundreds of dollars as a lawn ornament. It was a 2-horse plow, and it's almost completely all there. There's one shaft missing from the one handle on the one side, and there's a couple of the teeth missing. But no big deal, it's all something I can fix, no problem at all. Other than that, that's fully functional, and I'm going to repaint it and oil it up and use it. When not in use, it'll be here in the front of the garden. Everything else will be moved. The tarp was up over our garden until the wind took it away during that really brutal storm we had. But that doesn't matter, because now we need the sunlight, because it's not as hot. I have a cherry tomato I will be harvesting probably today. Yeah, I can probably eat that today. It's tiny ones, but that's looking good. My chilies are finally starting to grow, and I'm still fighting the wheat grass growing in here. Let me pause and come around. Wild strawberries at the base of the garden, which grew there, and I'm leaving them because I like them. And some corn. So 2 of them are older, and the rest, actually this corn is doing better than any other place in our property. I've got fava beans, which I don't know why they've got leaf curl and something eating them. I know what's eating them. We have ground squirrels and we have chipmunks invading our garden, and it is a non-stop wave of attacks. It is horrible. And our plants, most of our beans are gone, and our plants are suffering the constant attacks from the animals. Here's some kind of a squash thing that's really loving it. And she's got some okra that's doing somewhat okay. And then our cabbage plants are coming up okay. I've got some pear-shaped tomatoes finally coming along. And I got to keep pulling the grass out of there. The wheatgrass is crazy. These were flowering. Yes, they are flowering. And we have cucumbers growing very nicely. And there's a decent one there. And it's growing up and expanding. None of our beans and peas are doing any good, but it got hot. My tomato I keep trying to train and pull into here, and it keeps trying to get out. I had to have that actually covered for a while, like that one is. That one's recovering. This pepper, I don't know where the sign is doing all right. And then our cucumbers down here are are growing, so they're getting really good. I know that's the one big one I had. I'm going to have to train them up. That plant is up some trellises, but that other one over there is starting to grow up as well. The was it sweet potatoes somebody sent me? Melanie planted them together in a bunch, and we weren't sure how well they were going to do, and then they started growing very well in there, and she says that the vines will put out roots, and she didn't want to disrupt them and disturb them, so I suggested she plant the whole pot in the ground and let the vines branch out and send out their roots, and that's what she did. We've got normal potatoes growing along this row, all the way along these rows here. And then some other squash type plants growing here and there. The peanuts never grew. It was too hot and too dry. No matter how much we watered, it was too hot and too dry. They're still there, but they haven't done anything. So they're not going to make it this year. There's no way. There's another batch of sweet potatoes. They are happy. The corn, I don't know if it has thyme or not. Again, too hot and too dry out here, although we water it heavily all the time. The wheat just looks like, doesn't look like wheat. I don't know if that's going to grow or what it's going to do. Might have been a mistake letting it go. I guess we'll find out. And then here, my beans. Some are being eaten. Some are still alive. I don't know what's going to happen, but it doesn't look good for this year. The weather's been too hot. Our squash. Oh, the squash plants have been happy. We've got summer squash growing. Some that are almost ready to harvest. And some that are coming. Wow, that's a thick, what? Wow, I have never seen that variety of squash. Such a thick vine. Wow, I've never seen such a thing. That's a unique variety of summer squash that I've never seen. Such a massive vine. This is what I'm used to. I have never seen a plant grow like that. Wow. Well, they're liking it. There's another one, and there's another one. And then we got some zucchinis and something else's. All the signs got lost, so I don't know what we got anymore. They all got lost. So that's all the vines. Our trees from Tractor Supply all died. Well, not all. I think I have one left. Out of 14 plants, I think I have one plant left. And here's some of my grandma's roses. I'm going to fertilize them. I put in a goji berry, which I don't know if it's going to live or not. I have another goji berry up front that is alive and well. And this one, another Tractor Supply plant, died. I've got here the only survivor of them all is an American hazelnut that is alive. It struggled, you can see, for a while. It is alive. My mulberries are growing up from the base each year and freeze off and die each year, so I don't think they're going to live in this zone, which is sad because I love mulberries. And then our only two apple survivors, which are struggling because the insects eat them. And this, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to break that open and leave one branch growing and take out the rest and replant them into pots, like I did with all those apples, and I'll show you them later, and like I'm going to do with all these apples. Now, got something really neat for you. I've got a chair here because I'm going to have a nice neat place here to sit and enjoy an overview of my gardens and my orchards. And I'm going to have a walk-through pathway, winding pathways up through here. There's a gate here, which I've been using heavily, delivering materials, which I'll get to over here. And I got some posts over here and some cement blocks. I'll get back to that. Here is a German Hugelkultur grow bed. This was a matter of 3 days of work, and a lot of work it was. It started out like that, a pile of wood, but it was a lot bigger than that pile. That's just the beginning. I start out with a little pile of wood and logs, and then I put on a layer of the pine needles and bark, tree bark pieces, and tree leaves, that pile that we had brought over. and I spread out, about 2/3 of that pile on here to fill the gaps and cover up the logs. And then I brought over a truckload of topsoil from the Amish, and then I put on then I put on a thick layer of straw, a whole bale of straw I spread out. Then I put on the topsoil from the Amish, and the straw gave me a few inches of mass. And then the topsoil from the Amish, a truckload. And then I brought over about a quarter of a truckload of 30-40-year-old composting sawdust, which looked like soil by the time I got to it. I had to scrape the plants off the surface, and I could dig down and scoop up what I wanted. And then I put straw, and then I put a mess of plants. So what we got here this is going to be one of my herb beds in my herb garden. And what we got here in the bottom is some kale that I had, because I've got herbs in the top areas, and they're going to spread next year, throughout this year and next year. But for this year, I wanted to fill the bed and use the space. So I've got kale up in here, 9 plants. And then I've got 6 different plants of hot chili peppers going around the bottom ring. And then I've got different types of thyme. I've got 3 different types of thyme and a whole mess of different plants. Oh, the bugs are nasty. I've got English thyme, woolly thyme, and mother of thyme, whatever that is. But they look really pretty, the flowers. Can I zoom in that? On the, I don't know where it is. Oh, I can't see my camera. Yeah, it's the light. Oh, anyway, maybe I'll show you another time. There it is. They can be quite pretty. Pink, bushy little flowers, low to the ground. And then I've got my different types of oregano over here, a whole different mess of plants. And then I've got a tarragon. You can't quite see it over the hill, on top of the hill. And then I have to get up and show you. This is my heat-loving plants. And then around the other side, I have my semi-shade loving to full sun types of plants. I've got different types of mint family of plants, 4 different types, to spread out on this side and grow. They're going to spread like weeds, so I spread them a lot wider, and I'll let them go. I hope they spread out all over the place, because I love my mint plants. And that's everything here. Oh, there's the tarragon. It had a wild purslane weed growing in it, and the lady wanted to pull it out, and I'm like, no, I want to keep that. That's an herb right there. Very healthy. So these are really neat. They cascade down, and they got this woolly look. They're called woolly thyme. And see how they'll form and grow down. I like that. Oh, little tiny black flies now. They bite. So that's going to be really, really neat when that covers the ground. There's another one, and there's another one up the hill. So I want them to cover the hill and grow down. And then I got the mother of thyme. These are smaller plants, but they're going to bush out nicely as well. And then I've got the English thyme, which is more of a dense cover. So that is a hill that I've made over a period of days and just finished planting today. And then right across from it will be another hill. And in the middle is going to be a chair with a gazebo for me to sit and enjoy. And I'm going to have little winding walkways coming through and around and loop around this way. And then come on around through here and around that way and out. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be dense planted. Now at a garage sale I picked up 300 feet of brand new, never used chain link fence, 4 feet high, with 37 steel poles, never used. So I've got a project to do. My garden and the orchard are going to be protected by fencing. So pretty exciting. 300 feet of fence. And then I picked up some T-post to help in certain areas. But I'll explain all that when I get to it. And you can see that's all that's left of the pile that we had. And I got some building materials over here. Yeah, I got my gate. Here's where I deliver my materials, in the back of the property. I got my gate here, and eventually when I'm done with all of this, I've got the post for a real gate. And of course everything has alarms, so if anybody messes with anything or cuts wires, I get alarms. And even my vehicles now, each individually have alarms tied into the central alarm system. So really changing this year, really improving our quality of life and our security here. And hopefully the beauty of the place once that becomes grown in. It'll take a year or two, but it's going to be really beautiful. Now I'll take you on up to the house and show you some of the food we've been eating. In Melanie's herb garden, we have harvested some bok choy, which she needed to harvest because they were going to go to seed. She's got something here that did go to seed, which we're going to keep the seeds from. So we let them go. And that's bok choy. They're going to go to seed. We've got carrots that are still, they need to be thinned. And we've got some chards growing. And over here we've been eating radishes. The radishes are more than ready to go. Her broccoli went wild on her, sadly. The tomatoes are not happy. I don't know why. And over here she's got some more of her, I think, I don't know if that's some of her Chinese stuff. She's got Chinese water spinach growing. They're doing okay. And then she's got onions and some kale in there. And let me see, she's got another grow bed. Here she's got flowers, but something's hurting them. I don't know what got them. Something's eating the tops off. Something is absolutely eating the tops off. I don't know what it is. And I don't know what she put here, but this is a dense growing of flowers that she planted herself. I'm not sure what they're going to look like either yet, but this is all hers. It's really bushy. She built a little grow box herself earlier in the year. And that's in front of our store. Here we got some more of the sweet potatoes that we got in the mail that time, and some more struggling beans and peas. They are just not growing this year at all. Some more cabbage family of plants, some more, she's got some eggplants that never do well here. Never have I been able to grow eggplants. More of the sweet potatoes. Now what you'll notice is we're diversifying. We're spreading out our gardens this year and planting a lot of things in a lot of different places to see what does better where. Different types of grow scenarios, different some are in the garden itself, some are in raised beds, some are in semi-shade. We've got a lot of different scenarios here to see what does better this year. And then next year we'll take what grew and we'll lock down on that and concentrate on that and really grow some serious food in this place. And we planted a lot this year, more than ever in my life. We planted more quantity and variety of vegetables in this property. A lot died, and some are still doing all right. So we'll see what makes it and what doesn't this year. The meat birds get moved every 2 days into a new spot. We had a wet spot there because it rained on them, and then it made a mess. But anyway, they have a runway outdoors like we always did. And they can run around outside and play and get exercise and fresh air, or they can go inside in the shade and relax. And every 2 days they get moved. This little bed is feeding us. We had hamburgers on the grill today with real lettuce from our garden. Really neat. Actually, we've been eating a lot of stuff. I can't remember. We've been eating stuff for a while now from our own garden. Little things like lettuce and radishes and I can't remember, we've had some different herbs and stuff, but she's the one cooking with it all, so I can't remember everything, but we have been enjoying our garden somewhat. This was a swimming pool, a kid's pool that had a hole in the bottom, and now it's a lettuce bed. My apples are doing very well. This is all new growth. All this is new growth, these branches here. All this is new growth here. They're very well very happy here, my apples, since I put them in the pot. You can see all the new growth on that one. That one there isn't doing as well. I don't know what's up with it, but it's growing slowly. My grapes are dying. Tractor Supply again. I can't keep grapes for anything. I've tried putting some in the ground. I've tried some in pots, and they're just dying. Here I've got my old fig. Oh, there's biting flies. Oh, they hurt. They're so tiny you don't see them coming. That's my fig from 3 years ago. And another apple, really, really the healthiest of them all. Look at that. It's crooked, so I'm going to have to do something once it gets bigger. But look at the growth on that. So happy. And then I've got some lavender. Oh, that hurts. That I'm going to be working on. Another dying grape. I don't know what's up with the grapes. I love these guys. I love them. Where's the other ones? Must be inside. That's the guineas. We ate 3 roosters, and we kept 1 rooster and 1 hen of the chickens because they were picking on the guineas. We should have 6 guineas. 3 must be inside. There's the one happy rooster. One, he's a survivor. He was a nicer guy, then he turned mean after he became the only bird. Look at him, he's sort of walking sideways at me, showing who's boss. I'll show him who's boss. He gets too much show. He's beautiful. Look at the color in that on his head. He's a beautiful bird. He's a mean bugger though now. Look at him walking sideways. Look at him coming sideways at me. He's looking for a fight. He's big. He's not even full grown yet. The girl is probably inside. Well, he's got some color on him though. Anyway, that's the birds. I love the guineas. In here, all the grapes died. I can't keep them. I just can't. I've tried them everywhere around here. I think I'm going to give up on grapes this year. All the grapes died. 1 apple is growing from seed. And our citrus plants are very much loving the heat of the greenhouse. Very, very, very happy in here. And then she's got some water spinach that loves the heat as well. Doing very well in here. She put some more in here because they were doing so well. That's the best we have on the property. And then our herbs, they're starting to spread. I've got some lavender, but I don't know. Did I get lavender that's good for this zone? Zone 5. So I'm going to have to really heavily cover them in the winter and see if I can keep them alive. And I've got a raspberry that's rooting. And the rosemary is actually bushing out. It loves it in here too. There's a grape that never survived from 2 years ago. I can't keep them. I cannot keep a grape in this place for anything. I don't know what that is. Looks like there's green coming out of the stalk. What? Oh. It's got growth coming out of the stalk. Look at that. It might try to grow. Huh. Late. Oh, that smells good. I love that stuff. I'm just really happy here. And then we got our sweet leaf and some dill and some parsley. We got some chamomile. I think I need coffee. I replanted some different plants in here. I put in some new mint because mine had died. And I'm watching to see, here's another form of the mint family. I put in a catnip, which looks like it's going to be alright. We'll see. Melanie's got lemongrass in a pot. I put 3 lemongrass plants in here. They're doing alright. And then some of our plants are coming back. And this, I don't know what happened. It sort of flowered, and I don't know if it's going to produce berries or not. A lot of it's dying, but it's a berry I allowed to grow here 2 years ago, and it's forming flowers, so we'll see if it grows berries or not. But if it does, these little guys are going to get uprooted and taken up to the orchard. And if it doesn't, they're all just going to come out and be burnt as weeds, or put it in the compost bin or whatever. They'll be treated as weeds. I have some lemon thyme, which I don't know what the zone on that was supposed to be. Zone 6 to 9. Believe it or not, it's actually alive in here. Coming back, not very well. It's taken a while to come back, but it is. It is coming back all through here. So that's good. Here's another thyme that I think that, I'm not sure, all the labels are gone. And then my oreganos, and there, some of them are growing outside their zones. There's another, I think that was a thyme. I lost one of my oreganos. There was one here that's gone. But that was because last year we were not home enough and we didn't water our garden, and it all died. Everything died. My sage is, I don't know what's going on this year. It's taking its time. It has grown back every year, but this year it's really, really, really slow. So we'll see. And that's it. Most of the grow beds, or the trays, are empty. I got peanuts in here that are actually growing. I'm just going to leave them just for an experiment. Like I said, I'm trying different things this year in different places. And different herb locations, different plant locations, and see what does best. Strawberries, which are going into a place where wild strawberries are growing happily. Melanie's perennials. Some of them are perennials, some are not. I might plant some of them in my raised bed over there to grow and beautify the area. And then here's another set of perennials, all of these. And then I've got various mint and oregano plants that's going into a different area. And again, diversifying just to see what grows best where. And then I've got some more chilies. 3, 6, 9, 12 chilies still to plant in yet a different area. And like I said, we'll just keep experimenting. The best herbs of all are a peppermint bed right up here that started with one little sprig of peppermint we transplanted 1 year ago? I don't know, but they're really spreading. They're spreading outside the box. And I'm going to take some of them and put them over in my orchard. So a lot going on at the Off-Grid Homestead, and there's an overview. There's a lot of activities here, a lot of things being moved, a lot of materials being processed, and the day isn't over, but that's the end of our overview. Now I'm going to get up my orchard and start spreading some plants around. This is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Stay tuned for daily videos as we strive to become fully self-sufficient and off the grid on a budget once our internet is stable, which it's not. We had a storm and the new internet is glitchy because the lines are all down. Well, we'll see how it goes. Talk to you all later.